Hello and welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show, late night edition. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for joining me once again. And tonight on this live show, we have a lot to talk about. But first and foremost, look at this giant stack of Blu-rays and 4K titles. And yes, we will dive into this glorious, magical, and mystical stack of movies momentarily. So look out for that. And there's something in there that I've been waiting on for a very, very long time to hit 4K. So I'll do that, and we'll talk about that in just a few seconds. And also, we have to talk about the brand new trailer for Toy Story 5, because this trailer, it did something. It made me feel like I had a snake in my boots, but I mean that in the best way possible. I have a lot I want to say about that trailer, because the thing about Toy Story, I feel like that's one franchise that I have aged with, and it's kept up with me on every life decision and every life choice I've made almost too perfectly. It speaks to me. And then we'll dive into your questions and your topics. So whatever you guys want to talk about tonight, if it's relating to movies or life or what have you, get those questions and topics in right now, and we will dive into those after the main topics. So with all that said, check out my cool Pizza Planet jacket. Yeah, and I got a Back to the Future. I'm vomiting IP ooze all over my body tonight. That's what I'm doing. It's Friday night. The feeling is right. I missed you guys over the last week or so, and if you missed it, definitely check out my last video and my last live stream. If you don't want to watch the entire 3-hour live stream, just watch the video. It's right here on this channel. It's my most anticipated movies of 2026. So check that out if you want to know my movies. It's like a 30-minute video if you have nothing better to do. You know, drink some iced coffee in the morning, eat a bagel. I don't know. Whatever people do, I could not tell you. The first question of tonight comes from Akai Nai. How's it going, buddy? How's life going, John? Well, life is going okay. You know, a lot of opportunities have opened up over the last week or two. You know, hopefully those pan out and work out. The wintertime depressional season is slowly fading as the snow slowly melts outside. So that's good news. I'm looking forward to springtime. Not only because I miss sunshine and I need vitamin D because I think I'm falling into some weird state of depression, but also I want to go outside and mow my yard and listen to podcasts again. I'm going crazy. All I've been doing is playing Rocket League and playing Resurgence and Call of Duty, and it's just not very healthy. All right, so what do you guys say we dive into the first main topic of today? And the first main topic we have to talk about when it comes to movies is the brand new trailer for Toy Story 5. Oh gosh, who's that guy? Okay, so the other day I was scrolling on YouTube and I saw the new Toy Story 5 trailer pop up. And I've been looking forward to this movie. I love the Toy Story franchise. You know, I remember seeing Toy Story 1 in theaters back in 1995 and thought it was phenomenal. And Toy Story 2, which was originally supposed to go straight to DVD, well, I also saw that in theaters. And then Toy Story 3, just when you thought the franchise couldn't get any better, well, it tops itself again and goes deeper and darker. That sequence in Toy Story 3, where the toys are facing their fate and their doom, going down that incinerator, holding hands, accepting what's about to happen to them, I was like, oh my God, what are they going to turn into, like recycled water bottles? What is going to happen to the Toy Story crew? Spoilers, they make it. And then that final scene in Toy Story 3 where Andy has one last playtime with his toys before he gives them off to Bonnie. Oh, talk about letting go of your childhood and moving on. It still hits me in the feels. And then Toy Story 4 is, who cares? Okay, but when it came to this Toy Story 5 trailer, I kind of wanted to skim through it with you guys. And it's focusing on Jessie, and it looks like Jessie is sort of having the same midlife toy crisis that Buzz had at one point when Andy got a brand new, shiny, high-tech toy, which was called Buzz Lightyear back in 1995. And now Bonnie, well, she has a new toy, and now she's officially an iPad kid. And I like this concept. I mean, this is definitely something that's super topical. And this is what's happening to a new generation of kids. They don't care about toys. They don't want to go outside and play with Nerf guns and build tree houses and play with G.I. Joes. And then when your parents go out of town, you whip out the firecracker stash that you've been hiding all year, and you duct tape them to your G.I. Joes and your Ninja Turtles, and you just have the most epic Michael Bay-esque action sequence in your backyard you could possibly imagine as a 9-year-old boy. Did I do that? Yes, I did. Did the neighbors tell on me? Yes, they did. But anyway, I think this is a really cool concept for the Toy Story movie. I mean, it fits real life. And the other thing I have to talk about in this trailer, which also fits real life, and I think is sort of relatable, is at one point in this trailer, you see Woody show back up, and he was on a journey saving lost toys. And I think that's kind of cool. But he shows back up like the hero coming back into town, takes off his hat, and oh my God, what is that on top of your head, Woody? Well, it's a bald patch. Now, technically, it's a little bit of paint that rubbed off on the crown of his head, but I love what Pixar is doing with this. They're basically showing you that Woody is getting older. And this is sort of their way of saying, yeah, he's losing his hair, much like middle-aged men do when they're a bit past their prime. And I'm happy to say I'm holding on to all the hair follicles on top of my head for now. I do not have a bald spot. It might be slightly thinner than it was 15 years ago, but I'm okay with what I have. But anyway, I just think this is perfection. When I saw that they made it a talking point in the trailer to talk about Woody's bald spot, I was like, this is great. This is so relatable, because if you grew up with Toy Story as a kid, you are at this point in your life where you can completely relate to this bald spot. And I know what some people are thinking. Well, they can do what they did in Toy Story 2, and they can have the old guy airbrush it and touch it up. Or maybe if Bonnie just has a brown magic marker, she could probably fix Woody's hairline. Okay, I understand these things, but let's just accept the symbolism for what it is. And I think at this point, Woody, I think that one of the main driving plots of this film is going to be Woody sort of retiring. He's going to give up the Toy Story life. And maybe, just maybe, this movie sets up a new Toy Story. Maybe the next installment can be called New Story. I don't know. But I feel like, and this is just a theory from my stupid brain to you guys, I really feel like throughout Toy Story 5, they're going to need to focus on a handful of new toys to carry on the Toy Story franchise and completely just separate themselves from what we know as Toy Story. That way, the Toy Story franchise will never die, and we can have a new adventure, a new journey with a new set of toys. Or maybe they can make a prequel. Imagine like a Toy Story prequel with another kid. In the 1980s or something. That'd be kind of cool. Or maybe we make a prequel with Andy's dad first receiving Woody. Anything's possible. But when I saw Woody's bald spot, I had a multitude of feelings and thoughts. My other thought was, and hear me out for a second, because the Toy Story franchise is not afraid to go dark, or sort of adult-oriented to some degree. Especially with Toy Story 3, right? When they face their demise and you're like, oh, they're going to die. What if, hear me out for a second, probably won't happen, but what if Woody dies in this movie? He dies a hero's death. Because what does the Western hero do? Well, he dies in the heat of battle. And what if Woody goes down guns a-blazing, and like the final scene is they go to pull his pull string and nothing comes out of it, meaning Woody's soul has left his body. And my question to you guys, and please let me know down below, do you think a toy can die in Toy Story? Like, I know they can get crushed and blown up and what have you. I'm talking to Sid, you sicko. But do you think a toy can actually die? Do you think like a toy can just, once once their journey is over and they've fulfilled all of their obligations and duties to being a toy to the children that they love, do you think at some point when they're done with those obligations that their little toy soul just basically leaves their body and now they are just a shell without a soul? And do you think something like that will happen to Woody in this movie? Because, like, what else is the alternative here? Like, they put him in the attic beside the Christmas decorations? Or does he get the hero's send-off where he rides off into the sunset on Bullseye or something? And that's how it ends, sort of like a Western movie. But then, like, where's Woody riding to? Like, he's a toy. Where's he going? I don't know. So I feel like Woody might die in this movie. That was just a weird theory I had, and it's all based on that bald spot. So anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on the Toy Story 5 trailer. Sorry if they got a little bit dark and morbid, but, you know, it looks like a good time. I'm looking forward to the movie. You know, I'm not a big fan of Jesse, could care less. I wish he would get abandoned on the side of a road and never played with again and ends up in a ditch covered in muck. But, you know, that's okay. So what do you guys think? Share your thoughts, your opinions. Please let me know. Let's read some of your comments here. Man, I hope not, but that'd be a great plot twist. I agree. I think it would be phenomenal. They become nostalgia collectibles. Yeah, but then what do you do with them? Put them in a glass case? That seems depressing. It's like, here's a lifetime of solitude and confinement. He's going to Al's Toy Barn. Yeah. Toys die, but don't want Woody to die. He's not dying. It's a kid's movie. I don't know, man. I think Pixar, I think Pixar will be clever with the way they pull this off. I really feel like at some point, like, Woody saves the day. He uses all of his energy and he's laying there on the ground with all of his friends around him and he's happy. He's had a fulfilling life. He's done his duty. He was sheriff of this town as long as he could be. And I'm telling you, if that last scene is where they pull his pull string and he says something a little bit groggy, like, goodbye, there's a snake in my boots or something. Someone poisoned the water hole. You know, I'm just saying, if that's the last scene where they pull that pull string and nothing comes out and he just lays there, I think that might be a beautiful send-off. That might be the touching moment this movie needs. I think there's a way to do that to where it's not dark and morbid, or he's just going to live happily ever after. But I just thought that would be interesting. All right, let's keep going here. But that's a good theory, man. Well, thank you, Tyler. I just had that theory the other night laying in bed, and I wanted to share it with you guys. All right. You guys are killing it with the questions, so thank you so much. And we will get to the questions in just a few seconds, but I have one more main topic I want to talk about. And that next main topic we have to talk about is this giant stack of physical media. Now, you guys know me. I love physical media, probably more than life itself. Why? Because each one of these optical discs represent a feeling and an emotion that you can safely tuck away on your shelf and whip out anytime you so deem it. And that's why I love physical media. My thing is, if I don't physically own the movie, it will never have a special place in my heart. And that's why all my favorite movies are back there on those shelves. Now, are some of these my favorite movies? Absolutely not. Have I seen some of these movies? No, I have not. But we'll get to all of those. So the first movie I want to talk about, and we need to talk about, it finally happened. It's here. Nightcrawler on 4K Steelbook. I have wanted this to hit 4K since 4K optical discs have existed since 2016. And it arrived the other day. I have been wanting and needing this forever. Now, I'm going to unbox it with you guys all because I have not watched the movie yet. I haven't even opened it yet. And I think it's time to let this bad boy breathe because Nightcrawler on 4K is a gift you give yourself. All right, so here it goes. If you guys don't know the backstory with me and Nightcrawler, it was basically like my favorite movie for 5 or 6 years, and it's still in my top 20 movies of all time, maybe even my top 10 movies of all time. And the thing about Nightcrawler, it speaks to me. It's everything I like to see in a movie. It's simplistic, it's riveting, it's thrilling, it has dark comedy, it has a great sort of sociopathic, likable character played by Jake Gyllenhaal, who plays Lou Bloom. And he's really clever. And one of my favorite aspects about Nightcrawler is the good guy wins. Why? Because he deserved to win. He did everything it took. And I appreciate that. That's a story I like. And plus, I like all the nighttime sequences. I just like the vibe of filming stuff late at night with a video camera. Obviously, that speaks to me. That's sort of what my entire YouTube channel was based on originally. Going to Walmart late at night with a video camera. And maybe I was a little bit dark and twisted and slightly sociopathic, but that's a story for another time. But look at this. Look at this. Now we're going to talk about the actual cover art here. Now, you're probably thinking, yeah, that looks more like a Fast and Furious knockoff that you would find in the $5 Walmart DVD bin at 2 o'clock in the morning, and not so much like a Nightcrawler movie. And if that's your assumption, I would say, yeah, that's a pretty good assumption. Now, I'm not in love with this artwork. Now, I think having his red Challenger there is really cool, but like he's flying through the streets of LA, and like his camera equipment's just like sitting on the hood of his car. Like, what? How is this defying gravity? I don't know. Why wasn't this just a silhouette of Lou Bloom beside his car with the Hollywood Hills in the backdrop? Like, that's all you had to do. But then they did this. So, whatever. Here's the back cover. Nothing too crazy. Who cares about that? But here's the back cover of the steelbook here. And once again, they're keeping up with the car crash theme. Like, you would expect this to be a completely different movie. And then here's the inside artwork of it. And I like the way the discs look. I think those look pretty good. Now, I've heard that the Blu-ray picture quality, the audio quality of this release is top notch. If you go to Blu-ray.com, it has like a 5 out of 5 rating on picture quality and audio quality. The extras even have a 5 out of 5. So, I'm really intrigued to check this out. Oh, that's cool. The picture doesn't load. But anyway, I've heard this looks great. I'm going to savor the flavor and probably watch it early next week when I have a day off to kind of dedicate to it and eat some popcorn, because I haven't watched the movie in a couple years. So, and I used to watch this movie, and I'm not joking or being hyperbolic when I say this. I used to watch Nightcrawler probably like once every 2 months. Now, did I always finish the movie? No, but I would always at least start it. So I can't wait to check it out. The next movie I have is from Arrow Video. It's called The Visitor. Now, a lot of these movies were sent to me, and I love Arrow Video releases. Even if I don't necessarily love the movie, I love the release. I like the artwork. I like that there's a boutique optical or physical media company putting out catalog titles, but they make their releases feel like an event. The way they package them with the slip covers and the artwork. I have not seen The Visitor. They know we are here. I don't know anything about this movie, and I want to check it out at some point. So if you guys have seen The Visitor, please let me know what you guys think about this down below. And here's another movie from Arrow Video on 4K HDR. It's Westworld. Now, I have seen Westworld. I watched this for the first time on like network TV 25 years ago, and I've seen it once since then. I think on like DVD maybe. But I have not watched it in a very long time, and I'm really curious to go back and watch Westworld again. Now, I did watch the first season of this on HBO, but this is the original movie. What is this, late 70s? This says, well, let's see. This says 1980. What year did this come out? I feel like this is a 70s film. Yeah, 1973. But anyway, I think the concept of this is really awesome. You know, it kind of like, it touches on like mechanical AI a little bit. And I think that's really intriguing. And the biggest question I ask myself when I watch things like Westworld, if I had the money and the means, would I go into Westworld? And I think I definitely would. Yes, I would. It's like a real life Grand Theft Auto. You can just do whatever you want. So anyway, I can't wait to check that out. And look how thick this bad boy is. Like, I'm not even sure what's all included in this. But anyway, I can't wait to check that out as well. The next movie I have here, which was sent to me, I did not request this. It just showed up in the mailbox. But hey, I won't complain over 4K showing up in my mailbox. Not now, not ever. It's Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now, I did not watch Five Nights at Freddy's 1. I probably never will. And the biggest question I have to ask myself is why I watch Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And I think probably not. But hey, here's my gift to you if you're watching right now. If you want to win Five Nights at Freddy's 2, just like the video. And once this video is uploaded and published, comment down below on the video and just say, hey, John, I want Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and give me some obscene, witty reason why, and I'll pick one lucky someone and give this away in the next live show. So definitely do that. Okay. The next one I have here is the 4K of All the President's Men. And I believe this is based on the Watergate scandal with Richard Nixon. I have never seen this movie. I've heard about it. I've heard great things. It's one of those, it's a movie that takes place in Washington, D.C. Two reporters uncover one of the biggest scandals in U.S. history relating to a U.S. president. It doesn't say anything about Watergate on it, but from everything I know about history, that's what I'm guessing it's about. And then Richard Nixon got impeached. Spoilers. If it's not about that, then I just look like an incompetent fool right now. But hey, I definitely will check this out. It's got Dustin Hoffman in it and Robert Redford. So two phenomenal actors, and it's on 4K. So if you guys have seen All the President's Men, let me know. Is it a good movie? Down below. Nightcrawler's on Tubi. Might rewatch it again and see if I like it. Dude, Nightcrawler's phenomenal. I don't know how someone wouldn't like Nightcrawler. It is, I think, objectively speaking, it is like a perfect movie. There is no fat on the bone of Nightcrawler. Every scene is riveting and interesting. The character study is like phenomenal. It's always going and moving. And then the movie just has like an awesome climax with the ultimate payoff. Like, it's like the perfect movie. Okay, speaking of not the perfect movie, but hey, I know people like this franchise. Now you see me, now you don't. And now you don't see the Blu-ray anymore, and you'll never see it again. Just kidding. The thing is, it's whatever. Listen, the cast that signs up to be in this movie has never made sense to me. Like, what are all these A-list actors doing? Not all of them. Some of them kind of don't have careers in Hollywood anymore. But you got Woody Harrelson, you got Morgan Freeman, and you got Jesse Eisenberg on there. And the thing about the Now You See Me franchise, I watched the first movie and thought it was like blah. And then I was like, I'll never watch that again. And then I watched the second movie and I just was like, that's blah. I'll never watch that again. And the weird thing is, it's like they try to mix real actual magic-esque vibes from what I remember with optical illusions, but they never do it in like a really cool, creative way. It's like I wanted something like along the lines of Ocean's 11 meets Magicians, and you just don't really get that. So I don't know. Maybe I'll watch this at some point. Maybe I won't. The next movie we're going to talk about, and a lot of people love this. This was like the favorite movie of a majority of people from last year. It's One Battle After Another. Now, I talked about this movie in a review here on one of the live shows when this came out, and I thought it was good. I thought it was okay. But when it comes to Paul Thomas Anderson movies, this isn't even in like the top for me for Paul Thomas Anderson movies. And I thought it was like I said, I think it was good. I love me some Leo, and I think Bob Ferguson's character in this film was like the best thing about it by far and away. I loved Leo being this kooky recluse dad, and I thought that was like comedic gold at times. But like everything else in the movie, it felt so discombobulated, and it was very well made. And there's some awesome sequences, like the car chase sequence towards the end of the movie, which sort of gave me Alfred Hitchcock vibes. The way the camera moved over the hills, and I thought Sean Penn playing Colonel Lockjaw, or whatever his stupid name was, I thought he was okay as like the antagonist. And more or less the overall arching story or the narrative is sort of like Terminator 2 Judgment Day. You have a protector trying to save a child from the antagonist who's just unrelenting. But I didn't like the movie that much. I'd much rather watch Boogie Nights or There Will Be Blood when it comes to Paul Thomas Anderson movies. And I think those are both far superior films. And I think if like you like this movie and you've never seen either of those other two movies from Paul Thomas Anderson, the director of this, I highly recommend go checking those out because they're better movies. Okay, so let's go to the next. But hey, maybe I should revisit this on 4K, and I probably will. I'm sure it looks great on 4K. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about here is an epic of sorts. It's Ben-Hur. Now, I've watched Ben-Hur probably like once in my life. I remember when the about like 15 years ago, they had this Best Buy exclusive box set that came out for Ben-Hur. It looked like a board game. And I remember that went on sale for like $10 and I bought it. And the Blu-ray looked great of Ben-Hur. It's an awesome epic film that was made in, I think, the 1950s. It's got an awesome chariot race. That's pretty much the highlight of the movie. It's a very long movie from what I remember, but it's an epic nevertheless. And this is at a time when they used to shoot movies on 70 millimeter. Or is this 70 millimeter? I think it's 70 millimeter film stock. Either way, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember the visuals of this just looking like ahead of its time. And the Blu-ray, oh, just the scope of it, like the grain that you could see in the picture quality when I was watching it on my OLED TV 10 years ago. It just top notch. But I can't imagine what this looks like on 4K. I hope it looks better than it did on Blu-ray. So definitely check that movie out if you've never seen it. And the next movie and the last movie I have to talk about in this very impromptu Blu-ray collection update video is Sisu, Road to Revenge, or as I like to call it, we took all of our inspiration for our marketing material from Mad Max Fury Road, and we wanted to make it look like that and capitalize on that fan base. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, when it comes to Sisu, I watched the first movie, like sort of, kind of. I remember I was at a friend's house. It was playing. I watched some of it. We would talk and play pool and then sit down and keep watching the movie. There wasn't much to it. It's sort of like a cat and mouse type of movie. And maybe I'll check this out on a rainy day. If I'm in the mood to watch an action movie, I'd probably just like looking at this, I'd just watch Mad Max Fury Road. Like, why would you just like, oh, let me decide what action movie? I'd rather watch the better one. So I know people like this movie. So there's that. Those are some of the new Blu-ray movies I picked up over the last couple of weeks, and share your thoughts, your opinions down below. Okay. The first Sisu was good. Yeah, I thought it was okay. Murph M says the 1950s one was great. The remake from a few years back was a big disappointment. Oh yeah, the Ben-Hur movie from a couple years ago was an abomination. It's like this is what they do with every like Sword and Sandals big epic that's a remake. Like the Ben-Hur was terrible. Gladiator 2 was terrible. This kind of doesn't relate, but sort of kind of. It's a big movie that takes place in a sandy area. Exodus Gods and Kings was terrible. Like, they just, all those redo movies are just so bland and Hollywoodized that they just don't have any heart to them. All right. Let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from James Dosier, who says, Punch Drunk Love, I think, is a pretty good Paul Thomas Anderson movie. Yeah, it probably is. I have not watched that movie, and I can't even recall the last time I saw it. So it's one of those films I need to go back and revisit. Just rewatched Final Battle in Troy. Fucking awesome. It is, man. Like, I showed my wife Troy for the first time the other day or the other week. And I think it's time we dive into the questions. What do you guys say? Okay. Boom, the questions. Yeah, I showed my wife Troy for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and she loved it. She thought it was phenomenal. I was like, isn't that a great epic like no one talks about? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, isn't that better than any big epic you've seen in like the last 15 years? Yeah. So, I have a theory, and this is just like speculating, and I'm just going to be pessimistic for a second here. I know negativity offends some people, but hear me out for a second because I'm a realist, okay? First and foremost. I cannot wait to watch the Odyssey from Christopher Nolan, okay? But after that movie's over, we all have to ask ourselves, was that Sword and Sandals flick from Nolan better than the Wolfgang Peterson Troy movie from 20 years earlier? I almost feel like Troy might live on to be the more rewatchable movie if you make the comparison. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope the Odyssey is like everything I want it to be, but I don't know. I'm just like rewatching Troy. I was like, this is just a good time. Like the Eric Bana and Brad Pitt fight scene. It's intense, man. And then the opening battle sequence where you have the main battle where you have the king and he comes out and he goes, Bulgarius. And then Nathan Jones, this like 7 foot tall muscle bound dude, walks out with trapezius muscles going up to his ears. He doesn't have a neck. And then you have Achilles just jab him right in the neck and take him down instantaneously. Oh, you just don't see shit like that anymore in cinema. Yeah, Tyler, I agree. I think Troy will stand the test of time. And I almost feel like the Odyssey, I think it will have some glaring issues. I get this like sneaking suspicion about it. The other thing I want to talk about when it comes to movies is there's been a lot of talk about this. There is some early showings of an upcoming movie called Project Hail Mary coming out. And you can buy IMAX tickets. They're showing the movie a couple weeks early if you can buy the actual IMAX tickets. And I bought the tickets as soon as I could. And I don't have the greatest seats in the IMAX cinema for the movie. I'm going to the Indiana IMAX, which is a legit IMAX screen. It's not a IMAX. And I'm sitting sort of like in the back side of the theater, and which is okay by me, as long as it's not in the front of an IMAX screen and I'm not looking up like getting scoliosis and my spine's about to snap in half like a popsicle stick. I will take the seats in the back. But anyway, I cannot wait to watch Project Hail Mary in IMAX. Oh, now I've heard great things about it so far. I've heard some people have seen it early and they say it's like going to be the spectacle and best movie of 2026. And if you read the novel for Project Hail Mary, I think first of all, you should read it. It's probably my favorite novel I've ever read. But secondly, it just lends itself to being an epic. And when it comes to sci-fi space epics, they're very few and far between, right? Like, what is the last great space sci-fi epic we got? Like the truly phenomenal one that will stand the test of time. Like Interstellar off the top of my head, maybe there was something else in there. But I think Project Hail Mary can be one of those movies. But on top of that early IMAX screening, I actually do have a press screening that's even earlier than the IMAX screening, which, by the way, IMAX tickets cost like $25 a piece. Just putting it out there. Isn't that crazy? But anyway, so I'm hoping to see the movie in the first couple of days of March. I cannot wait to see it. As soon as I see it, we'll talk about it. I'll give you guys a review. But if you guys haven't bought an IMAX tickets yet, you might not be able to because they sold out pretty quick. And some people are buying them and reselling them on eBay and shit. And it's just like, that's sad. Okay. Let's dive into some of the questions here from you guys. And the first one's going to come from Andrew Gordon, 5342. How's it going, Andrew? And thanks for the question. I don't know any WWE, but just found out who Nikki Bella is. Maybe I'm missing out. Just finished reading Project Hail Mary. Can't wait for the movie. Well, speak of the devil. Yeah, Nikki Bella was engaged to John Cena. She's a sort of below average female wrestler, in my opinion. I don't really like anything that she does in the ring. I mean, yeah, she's fun to look at. She was a bit more popular about a decade ago. But yeah, you know, I love me some WWE. I'm more of a Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan fan. Io Sky, I think, is like the best female wrestler of all time. If you don't know who either of those wrestlers are, look up some of their matches on YouTube. I think you'll be blown away. But thanks for the question, man. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm looking forward to Project Hail Mary. It's probably like my number one most anticipated movie of this year. Yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah. So anyway, you get a party popper for that magical question. So thank you. And by the way, guys, I have enough party poppers to disco for a lifetime. I bought 17 packs of party poppers at Walmart the other day, and I was going through the self-checkout, and the lady looking at me, like, she must have thought I moonlight as a birthday clown, or I'm some kind of weirdo, because she was wondering why I bought a trash bag full of party poppers. I'm like, no, these are for the live stream. These are my pyrotechnics. You just wouldn't understand. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Chris Solomu. How's it going, Chris? Need a more intimate members chat. Make this happen. You know, that's a good idea, Chris. I think we should do a members only chat. So if you guys haven't become members here on the channel yet, please do. And I think maybe... Can you give me like a week to do that? Or maybe 2 weeks at most, but I will announce it. How about this? By the time the next live show comes out for YouTube, I will announce a members only chat, and then we can all hang out. How's that? Because I agree. I want a more intimate setting where we can just relax and talk amongst ourselves. But I'll make that happen, man. And speaking of members, we got one here from Skylar Wheelock. How's it going, Skylar? Are you going to pick up the Project Hail Mary popcorn bucket? It looks awesome. No, what is it? Yeah, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to eat out of it for the rest of my life. Project Hail Mary popcorn bucket. If they make this the character Rocky, I'm going to be very... By the way, speaking of Project Hail Mary, the one thing I need to add is, like, if you never read the book, I'm sorry the trailers did that to you. They spoiled so much shit in that trailer. And I get it from a marketing perspective. It makes it more interesting to show like the secondary character that this guy goes on a journey with. But when I was reading the book and that character was introduced, I had no expectation that was coming. And that just made the book immensely better. And the fact they're giving away all that juicy magical shit in the trailer, like it's just nothing. Oh, it's like they're just doing the movie a disservice. I really feel like they should have savored that flavor for the movie. But if you haven't watched the trailer yet, just don't watch the trailer. Go see the movie. But let's look at this popcorn bucket. Ooh, shit. Okay. Let's check this. Look at this. This is the Project Hail Mary popcorn bucket. Okay. It's a space helmet. That is sexy. Yeah. Okay. Now, please, I hope that thing is large enough to fit on my melon. I hope it's not all small, because they when they came out with the Gladiator 2 popcorn bucket, which, by the way, the movie sucked, but the popcorn bucket was really cool. They made the helmet just small enough not to fit my fat head. Like, check this out. Like, this is what it does. I just needed a 1/4 inch more of thickness, and it would have fit. And that's what she said. Or he said. Whatever floats your boat. But yeah, that popcorn bucket's looking pretty sweet. Here's this. Like that. Who cares about that? Yeah, I'm definitely buying that. What is this? Okay. That could have been a popcorn bucket. Okay, so yeah, I'm definitely going to buy that helmet popcorn bucket. Yes, I will. Absolutely. Thank you for telling me about that. I'm going to buy that bad boy. Okay, the next one comes from Dustin Rich, who says, "Hey, what are you doing over there? Hosting a movie talk live show or something?" Yeah, man, I'm doing my best. All right. And by the way, guys, I called this late night movie talk, and I know it's like only 9 o'clock. But I was like savoring that thumbnail for a while now, and I just figured 8 o'clock's kind of late, depending on where you live, isn't it? But we will start doing official late night live shows at some point on the weekends, just to spice it up a little bit. Okay, let's go to the next question here, and the next one comes from Jesus Salcido. How's it going, Jesus? Hey, John. How's it going in life and the new job? I haven't been able to catch a live show live because life gets in the way. Also, who is your favorite Batman? Well, no problem, Jesus. The job is going pretty good. Some other opportunities have presented themselves, so that's good. I like it. I do. I like the autonomy of what I do. I'm in, I'm out. You give me a time and a place, and I'm yours. Outside of that, don't talk to me. So it's going pretty good, man. No complaints. But as far as everything else, no other complaints. The thing is, the fact that like winter's coming to an end and like movie season is kicking back up, that just like reinvigorates me to be a YouTuber again and talk about movies. I'm like, all these things that I like to talk about are happening. Okay, good. And then during the winter seasons, I hibernate. So, and as far as my favorite Batman goes, I think I have to go like childhood-wise, Michael Keaton. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And then I like Christian Bale as Batman. I do. I didn't like Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne all that much. And then Ben Affleck as Batman, I sort of liked. But if I had to pick, I'd probably go with George Clooney because he had the best bat nipples of any Batman there was. Hey, Freeze, I'm Batman. No, I don't know, maybe Christian Bale overall. I just think he had the most aggressive Batman. But then again, Ben Affleck's Batman was literally machine gunning down criminals and blowing up their vehicles. So it's really hard to say. I think overall I'm going to go with Christian Bale. But I have a special place in my heart for Michael Keaton. But thanks for the question, man. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. All right. James Dosher says, John, how have you been lately? Pretty good, James. How have you been, man? Just trying to keep up with this thing called life and inflation. It's like a gallon of milk costs $73. It's like if I leave my house, I am spending $125. I know that. No matter where I go, I'm spending $125. I have not been to Costco in a month because I know if I go in there, I'm spending $500. And I'm going to walk out with energy drinks, Gatorade, and 5 bags of chips that I'm never going to finish. And that's it. That's all I leave the store with. I'm like, how did I get here? I don't know. All right, the next one. The next one comes from Lee B Films. How's it going, Lee B Films? And thanks for the question, man. Here it goes. Hey, John. I'm going to a con, and I'm meeting Jay and Silent Bob. CW Flash cast Edgar Wright, Brandon Routh, and Keith David. I'm excited. Have you seen the Scott Pilgrim movie? It awakened my crush on Brie Larson. Yeah, Brie Larson looked pretty good in Scott Pilgrim, didn't she? Yeah, I agree with that. I think she even looked good in the movie Room, where she was abducted and held captive. Is that weird to say? I think it is. Let's just backtrack. Let's rewind that. Yes, Brie Larson. I did not like Captain Marvel, though. There's that. That's awesome, man. Have a good time. Yeah, Keith David. You got Jay and Silent Bob. That'd be cool to get an autograph on something with them. I was never big into The Flash, but I have seen Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, I like Scott Pilgrim for the most part, but I feel like some of the fights get a bit repetitive. I like the first act of the movie way more than the second act. My favorite fight sequence in that is when he's fighting Chris Evans. I thought that was a lot of fun. And I like the opening to the movie where it has the 8-bit opening for the Universal Studios graphic. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I liked the movie. I thought it was pretty cool. But thanks for the question, man. And Actually, thank you. You're very generous with your super chat. So not only do you get one party popper, I'm going to give you a double party popper right to the face. Are you ready for it, Lee B Films? 3, 2, 1. Keep the change, you filthy animal. But thanks for the question, man. And have fun at the con. Skylar Wheelock says, so is the plan still to lock yourself away from the outside world at 40 and survive solely on classic Disney movies during your midlife crisis? Well, that's a great question. And I will say, I've come to the early conclusion that a midlife crisis no longer takes place at 50. It doesn't even take place at 40. It, in fact, takes place at like 38, the age I am now. Because what is that? 38 times 2, I'm not a mathematician, 70-something? Like, how old do you think people are going to live to be? No. Once you're past 78 years old, it's like, you're just kind of existing at that point, right? So I think I've went through my midlife crisis over like the last couple years. And I don't know if I'm 23 or 43 or 53. Some days I feel 63. But I'll tell you what makes me feel young and vibrant and youthful is the live shows. Where else can I wear a Pizza Planet jacket? Okay. But by the way, I love this Back to the Future shirt. I love it. But thanks for the question, man. And to answer that, yes, I probably will. That's what the Toy Story film is going to be for me. That is essentially my midlife crisis coming to the light. If Woody dies, I'm dying. If Woody dies, my Woody dies. Here it goes. James Dosher says, John, you are forced to watch Thor: The Dark World or Thor: Love and Thunder. Pick your poison. Thanks. Well, that's easy to answer. And I'm going to tell... Well, you know what's funny about both of those movies? Doesn't Jane die in both of those movies? Am I wrong? Doesn't she die in the second movie and the Thor: Love and Thunder, right? Technically. So there's that. I think the best way to describe Thor: Love and Thunder was that was Marvel vomit. If Marvel ate too much cotton candy and vomited on the floor, it would be Thor: Love and Thunder. That's the best way to describe that movie. Thor: The Dark World is really bad, the whole elves or what have you, but at least you had Loki in that movie. And really, that subplot was like the best thing about the movie that I remember. So probably, I'd probably watch Thor: The Dark World. But then again, don't ever make me do that. Ever again. I can't. Let's just go to the next question. Immediately. All right. Stuckman's Hot Bottom. How's it going? You ever see 24? Bad subplots, but love Jack and pacing. I never got into 24. I know each story takes place over the course of 24 hours or what have you. Obviously, the title says it all. What if each one took place over 24 seconds and they made it a TikTok series? That could be a thing, just putting it out there. That's $1 million idea if someone wants to steal it. But I never got into it, never watched it. So those are my thoughts. Sorry, I was too busy watching reruns of Law and Order at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, man. Got an awesome super chat here from Robbie Van Gone. How's it going, Robbie Van Gone, man? Thanks for the question. Let's just dive into it. Let's see what Robbie had to say. Hello, John. Been watching since 2017. When I got back to the States from Syria, oh man, okay. I was sitting in my car in an In-N-Out parking lot, confused about life. I randomly clicked on your live stream and have been watching ever since. Keep being entertaining. Man, thanks so much, Robbie. Thank you. That means a lot. And I love little stories and anecdotes like that, that means a lot, man. Thank you. And if this means anything or if it's relatable at all, there have been many lonely days where I've been confused about life and which direction to go. And when when I'm in that mindset, I always find myself in a fast food parking lot, believe it or not. And I do, and here's my routine. And I'm specifically going back before I met my wife and I lived alone and, what have you. I remember like literally loading up a YouTube video on my phone, something I wanted to watch. And I would drive to a fast food restaurant and we had a place, it wasn't In-N-Out. It was called, they served like chicken sandwiches and hot dogs and milkshakes. And you would park your car and they'd come out to your car and serve the food to you like a 1950s old fashioned sort of restaurant. You'd park and eat or what have you. And I always remember having like the perfect YouTube video and like making a night of it for myself. So I relate to that. But nevertheless, man, thank you so much, Robbie, for the question. And thank you for the super chat. It does mean a lot, man. And hopefully everything's going well now after that cathartic In-N-Out experience. And thanks for sticking along. Thanks for sticking around for the last decade almost, man. So it does mean a lot, man. And I'm going to get, you know what, Robbie? For you being so generous tonight on the live show, I'm going to give you a triple party popper. I don't know if this has ever been done in the history of the live show or the history of the world, but tonight is the night that we make magic. So I'm going to back up. I think I need to back way up for this ultimate party popper. Are you ready, Robbie? 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm sorry that happened. That went on way too long. That's not what I expected to do, but it's what happened. So anyway, what do you say? We just move on and we forget about what just happened. Okay, but thanks, Robbie. Then, dude, I got party popper vomit all over the camera. All right. Oh, those party poppers, man, they will knock you out. Your back's going to feel that in the morning. To be honest with you, with my new job, I'm feeling more agile than ever. I've been moving. I'm getting stronger by the day. My legs are picking up. I like it. I need to get back into the gym, though. I'm probably going to go to the gym for the first time in 6 months tomorrow. So wish me luck. I know I'm going to rip my pec. I already know it. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Whew. The next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, did Terminator Salvation make a mistake by sidelining John Connor and prioritizing Marcus's identity arc when it could have been a full-scale Saving Private Ryan with robots? That's a good point, man. It could have been a Saving Private Ryan with robots. You're right. Yeah, the worst thing about Terminator Salvation was Sam Worthington and his character and the stupid AI generated head from what's-her-face that's married to Tim Burton. Or at least I think it was, right? Yeah, it was pretty bad. That was the worst thing about Salvation. It had so many good ideas. It had Christian Bale playing like older John Connor, and I loved that. And I loved the way he did his Batman voice as John Connor. This is John Connor. We are the Resistance. If you're hearing this, keep fighting. The machines have a weakness. I liked all of that. But then you have like Sam Worthington. It's just like, nah, what are we doing here? But that's when Hollywood thought Sam Worthington would be like the next big thing. And little did they know, the only thing he's going to be in is Avatar movies for the rest of his career. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Night King 01. How's it going, Night King 01? And by the way, let me take a... first and foremost, I haven't even opened tonight's caffeinated beverage. And tonight, I'm drinking a Rain Sour Gummy Worm, which tastes like cotton candy puke, but I'm okay with that. Okay. So Night King 01. Here's what he has to say. Ben-Hur, 1959, looks better than most of the films released today, in my opinion. Oh, no, that's a subjective statement, sir. Or no, that's not a subjective statement. That's an objective statement because it does look better. Modern day, if you made Ben-Hur now, which they did, and this kind of proves the point, if you made Ben-Hur now, which they did and still proves the point, it would look digital, it would look flat, it wouldn't be memorable, and you could never have that same scope of actual practical epic set pieces. They just couldn't and wouldn't do it. And it's been proven, and it does look better. Light years better than the remake that they crapped out, like, what was that, 10 years ago? Do I have a review of Ben-Hur? Let me see. Ben-Hur. I have a review of the box set. I don't think I have a review of the movie, though. So anyway, continuing on. Digital photography has ruined movies simply because I think it's made it too easy. Also, lighting is an afterthought. Well, that's a great point of contention. I would love to talk about that. So you're absolutely right. You know, digital movies have, like, I'll give you an example. I'll give you the best example I can give you right now. Nightcrawler was shot on film, and it was also shot with digital. All of the night sequences in Nightcrawler were shot with digital cameras, and everything that has like a daylight sequence or a lot of light was shot on film, because that's what they do best. Film looks great with the more light you give it, and I think digital really shines in a dark sequence. Like, it doesn't need a lot of light to capture what's happening, and it does better in a darker setting. So I think there's a place for digital films, but when you make your entire movie digital, there's just less pre-planning that goes into it to a degree. Like, when you shoot on film, every reel of that film matters because it costs money. Every time it's spinning, it costs money. With digital, they don't even stop rolling. They just keep the digital camera. It just never stops. So like it just feels like you don't care as much about each individual scene because it's not this like precious thing that you have to capture, you know. But with film, you had to get everything just right. There was a lot of planning that went into it. The lighting had to be just right. The depth of field just looks better. That's why lighting in movies looks so flat, because you can get away with it with digital. But when you shot on film, that lighting, it had to really be thought out ahead of time to get it just right. And plus, we don't even need to talk about the contrast and everything else that goes into film. It just looks better. It does. I don't even think, like, I think that's a factual statement. Film just looks better, but it's harder to work with. So I agree with you, man. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Sorry, I was looking at this video of me picking up the Ben-Hur box set, and I look like a disgusting little alien child. Look at this.
Damn it, and I don't have to wait because I'm above the law. Okay. So if you guys, I'm not a homo. This battle was a recent.
Look at it. Look, hey, we're in Best Buy.
They're too young, but that hasn't stopped me before.
Oh God. Okay, let's not. But isn't it weird? Like, look there, dude. Look at Best Buy right there. Let's go inside. Do I go inside of it? Jeez, John, this video is really shitty. But like, look at that. Remember when Best Buy had movies inside of it? Yeah, this was a Black Friday vlog I think I made. Look at that. There's the Ben-Hur box set. So that's why I was playing the video. Okay, let's keep going here. And the next one comes from Lee B Films. How's it going, Lee B Films, once again? When I met Kevin Smith, should I pitch him to write a movie for Rob Zombie? I don't know if Kevin Smith would want to write a movie for Rob Zombie, and I don't know if Rob Zombie would want to direct a movie that Kevin Smith wrote. So I don't know if that's going to work out, but good luck. How about you just tell Kevin Smith, hey, can you make a Clerks movie where people don't die of heart attacks and it's really depressing? Can we just not do that? Can we just remake that? I love me some Kevin Smith. I don't love all of his movies. I only really like a few, but I like Kevin Smith. Roger something says Ben-Hur is going to be in theaters March 29th. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, if you guys have never seen it, check it out. Is it coming just to theaters or like IMAX special screenings? Roger something says Alien John will always have a special place in my heart. Well, thank you so much for that. Mr. Ims says thoughts about Epstein files and has it made you get closer to the Almighty? Yeah, man, when you're seeing multiple emails of dudes in power talking about like giving each other pieces of pizza and eating jerky, and you just know what that means, right? Like you guys are picking it up what it means. I hope you're reading between the lines. Let's just put it this way. The assumption of everyone in power and in politics being sadomasochist child predators, I've always just assumed such things. I don't think that's like mind-blowing to me, but the fact that we're actually seeing it play out and it's factual and we have no idea how dark and deep this rabbit hole really goes, and we'll never really know the truth, right? We'll never know the truth. Like, we hear all these things, all these new emails come out, but okay, so Epstein offed himself. Sure, the video security camera just footage randomly shut off for the minute outside of his prison cell. That's conspicuous. Then you have an FBI director who literally looks like he was hired from like a Craigslist ad looking for an actor. And then everything around it just feels like so surreal. Like we live in a real episode, like a real movie like Idiocracy. And the thing is, nothing will ever come out of any of it. No one will ever go to court, or anyone who actually matters, anyone in a position of power will never pay for their consequences or their sins against humanity. Nothing will ever change. But hey, we got some emails where they don't really tell us much and everything's redacted and blacked out with magic marker. So there's that. We're just peasants holding on for dear life, and it makes me sick and disgusted. If only we could all just come together and unite. They try to keep us separated. What side of the argument are you on? The left or the right? No. Stop doing all that. We need to unite in the middle, form a foundation, and rise up against the man, okay? It's us against the system, showing that the human spirit is still alive. I tried. Let's just move on. Let's keep talking about movies. Okay, let me stay in my lane. Here we go. But yeah, I did keep up with the Epstein files. Scary shit. Yeah, they're all redacted. Like, here's the files, but you still don't get the files. But anyway, Lee B Films, thanks for the question once again, and you get another party popper. Okay, Ryman 6000. How's it going, Ryman? Hey, John, my girlfriend is wearing a Shrek t-shirt right now. Okay, I'm glad that sentence ended with a t-shirt. That could have went a lot of different directions, but let's continue on. Shrek is love. Shrek is life. Which makes me wonder, what is your favorite Shrek movie, and what is your worst Shrek movie? Well, my favorite Shrek movie is Shrek 1. I think Shrek 2 is mildly watchable, and then my least favorite Shrek movie is everything after Shrek 2. Because I feel like they all got worse as they went. Now, I know they're coming out with a new Shrek film, and Zendaya plays the edgy daughter of Shrek, and I'm sure something will happen with her character. I'm not really into the Shrek movies anymore, to be honest with you. And that's not because I've outgrown animated movies or anything. Like, you're talking to a guy wearing a Pizza Planet jacket. I just, like, what more can you do with Shrek at this point? I don't know. Like, the first one's a lot of fun. Really enjoy it. I love the, oh gosh. What is his name? The little cookie guy. What is... Not my jelly bean buttons, no. What is his name? Oh, why can I not think of what the gingerbread man, right? Okay. Not my jelly bean buttons. Phenomenal stuff. Okay, the next one comes from Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, who says, "What do you think? Good luck, have fun, don't die." What? What do you think? Good luck, have fun, don't die. I haven't seen the movie. I don't know anything. I haven't watched it. I have not watched it. Is it good? You guys tell me. Yes, I could not think about like gingerbread. For some odd reason that just I couldn't think what the word gingerbread was. No, I have not seen Good Luck Don't Die. I've heard, to be honest with you, I have not looked into that movie at all. I don't think I've watched the trailer. I don't think I've watched anyone's reviews of the movie. I almost know nothing about. That is like the one movie of the last 2 weeks I'm completely oblivious and ignorant to. Someone fill me in. I have to admit, Donkey is really annoying and idiotic by saying the wrong things in bad timing. Yeah, like it worked for the first couple movies, but I think that's just an Eddie Murphy thing as well. It's good, honestly. Heard it's excellent. That's good to hear. All right. The best Gore Verbinski, is it Verbinski? Best Gore Verbinski movies? Geez, that's a great question. It's definitely not The Lone Ranger. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to go with the first Pirates of the Caribbean, or I'm going to go with the remake of The Ring from 2002. Was that 2002? Yeah, I'm going to go with those two movies. I think either of those would do. I mean, I think Pirates might technically be the better movie, the first one. But I like The Ring quite a bit when it comes to like horror movie remakes. Roger something says Lord of the Rings is in theaters again in 4DX right now for those who didn't get a chance to go see it last month. So you're saying it's in like 4DX, like the theater where the chair rocks and wind blows at your face? Or is that called something else? Is that called something else now? I would never want to watch Lord of the Rings in 4DX. If it's the one where it's the immersive theater experience where the chair moves, no, that would completely ruin the experience. I'm not a fan of 4DX theaters. I hate them with a passion, to be honest with you. I saw one movie in a 4DX theater, and like halfway through, I had to get up and move seats to a seat that didn't move. Like, I think it's the most distracting thing ever. Like, as soon as you're trying to like relax and watch the movie, you're like, oh, this is pretty good. I hate it. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay. The next one comes from Night King 01, who says, what's Night King saying? Night King says, I just watched David Lynch's Inland Empire. I have no idea what the film was about, and it was a complete mindfuck, but I liked it. I guess some movies just do that to you. Was there ever a movie where you liked it, but don't know why? Man, that's a great, thought-provoking question. I'm trying to think, like, there's movies where I liked it and I watched it again, and then like maybe there's movies I watched for the first time, and there was something that I liked about it, and coming out of the theater, I wouldn't say like I loved the movie but for some odd reason I felt the urge to revisit it, and a couple movies just off the top of my head, because I'm sure there's a better movie that exists for this answer that I've seen. But one of them would be the movie, this might be a weird one, but the movie Alpha Dog with Emil Hirsch that came out in 2006 with Ben Foster. I remember I've always liked crime drama type movies based on true stories. And something about that movie, the first time I watched it, I was like, yeah, okay, there's like, and it has Justin Timberlake in it. Yeah, but he's good in the movie. It makes sense. There was something about it like I liked, and I revisited that movie a couple more times since then, and I really enjoy it. I think it's a really underrated movie, Alpha Dog. Another movie that I watched for the first time was in theaters, and I didn't love it the first time I saw it. It was the movie The Road with Viggo Mortensen. Am I saying that right? Mortensen? Anyway, there was something that drew me to that movie. And it's a post-apocalyptic movie that's a bit dark. But man, I've rewatched that movie multiple times since seeing it in theaters. And like, I still really enjoy just how dark and decrepit that movie is. And it sort of shines a light on what humanity would probably do in a situation like that. And if you've never seen the movie The Road, definitely check it out. There is a very awesome, intense scene where they get trapped in a basement and they're basically harvesting like other people in the basement to like starve them and keep them there as food supply. I'm just putting it out there. I could see things like that happening. Do you guys remember just like 6 years ago when COVID happened and how insane we got? Yeah, amplify that by 10,000. And imagine what we're going to do in an actual like pandemic situation where you're just like your skin's falling off and you're rotting to death. Like, I don't know. So there's that. Did I answer the question? I have not seen that movie though. Roger something says, I feel you. 4DX isn't for everyone or every movie. I went to see Revenge of the Sith last year, and it was fun, but I completely understand not liking it. Yeah, the thing about 4DX, the way the chairs move, if it was just more like fluid and you felt like you were kind of floating just to get a little more movement. But the thing is, it's just rigid. It feels like a car crash. It's like someone putting their hands around your spine and just shaking you and then hitting you in the head with a ball peen hammer and throwing popcorn at your face. And it's like, okay, like, am I supposed to like this shit? And I paid extra money for this? No. It's just, it's too rigid of a movement. Like, rock me to bed like a baby. You know, that's what I want when I go to the theater. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Claudia Rogajan. How's it going, Claudia? All right. Rip James Vanderbeek, Robert Duvall, Tom Noonan, and Eric Dane. Yeah, it's one of those months, man. It's just like celebrities keep dropping. The James Vanderbeek one is pretty crazy. I mean, that was like he was a pretty young guy. I mean, he was somewhere in his 40s, upper 40s. I think he was 10 years older than me. And like, dudes, like, I know this is a live show and a podcast or what have you about movies, but dudes, if you're past 40, get your colons checked, just for fun, you know. I know I'm gonna schedule an appointment. Shit's too scary, man. So it's crazy. But anyway, favorite James Vanderbeek movie was always Rules of Attraction, where he played Patrick Bateman's brother. Yeah, Rules of Attraction, if you guys have never seen it, I'll show you what we're talking about here. It's a great movie. It is from the same writer of American Psycho. And basically, James Vanderbeek's character sort of plays Patrick Bateman's brother, but it's a very loose connection, if you will. And it's a lot of fun. It's a bit more lighthearted and focuses more on like a college vibe. But it's a really fun movie. Jessica Biel's in the movie, looking better than ever. I used to have such a crush on her back in the day. And it's sort of a dark, twisted movie about multiple characters. This dude right here, down in the right-hand corner of the DVD cover, there's a sequence with his character where he's just talking really fast, and they're showing a lot of fast clips of his like travels through Europe, and it's phenomenal. I always enjoyed that sequence. But yeah, James Vanderbeek in the movie does play sort of a sociopath. So rest in peace, James Vanderbeek, man. But definitely check out Rules of Attraction if you've never seen it. Roger something says The Road and Book of Eli. I like The Road much more. Rip Moxon Harbor and Billy Bob. Yeah, man. Come on, Johnny, you can do it. I love Varsity Blues. If I had to pick my favorite James Van Der Beek movie, it's definitely Varsity Blues. That is a phenomenal football movie. Oh, Jessica Biel and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, yes, please. Just, I don't want to get too weird and provocative, though I will for the sake of conversation. But, like, she's just dripping sweat that whole movie, running away from a guy with a chainsaw. Can you think of anything more romantic? and, then, and then Leatherface takes her boyfriend's face off and wears it. It's like, that is perfection. Okay, let's go to the next one here before it gets too weird. David Beat Goliath says, have you ever seen Sidekicks with Chuck Norris? Not the best movie, but the soundtrack kicks ass. Well, I'll tell you one thing Chuck Norris could not survive. It's a party popper to the face right there. Thanks for the question, man. Yes, I have seen Sidekicks multiple times, probably like 5-10 times. And I'll give you a quick backstory on the movie Sidekicks. I want to show you guys what we're talking about here. Let me bring up a trailer for Sidekicks. Sidekicks movie. Here it is. Come on, Barry. You can do it. So basically, the movie Sidekicks is kind of like in a way, it's sort of like a Karate Kid ripoff movie, basically, more or less. It takes all elements of Karate Kid and then interjects Chuck Norris as an imaginary guardian angel of this kid named Barry who gets picked on, who later in life, the real life actor, what's his name? Jonathan or something? He took his own life. But anyway, that's a story for another time. But yeah, the movie Sidekicks, man, it's a lot of fun. It's pure 90s cheese. But the thing about this movie I remember most vividly was I was taking karate classes at the local YMCA when I was in 2nd grade. And I will tell you guys this, when it came to karate, I became a blue-tipped white belt. That's as far as I got. I think what you had to do to be able to get that was just be able to stand up and breathe. So I passed the test. But I remember after karate class was over, we'd all hang out in this room and watch movies as we waited on our parents to pick us up. And this was one of the movies we watched like 5 times. And I always thought it was a lot of fun. And like, I thought the sequences were like he imagines himself in these action situations where he's just daydreaming and he's hanging out with Chuck Norris. I found that so relatable because every time I close my eyes as a child, and even when I close my eyes now as a 38-year-old dude, I sometimes imagine hanging out with Chuck Norris as well, dressed like a ninja. So I think it's a great movie. If you've never seen it, I think you can watch it. Is it on YouTube right now for free? Let's see. Oh, is it? Oh, shit. Hey, I'll tell you what. Do you guys just like want to say screw it to the live show and just like watch Sidekicks together? We'll just sit here and watch the movie together, Sidekicks. That's what we'll do. You know what? In all seriousness, how about this? How about, and I don't even care if it gets demonetized. I don't care. At some point, and maybe we can do this, or I'll have you guys vote on it. I think we should have a live show, and I will pick a movie that's free to watch on YouTube, and we can all watch it together, and we will just do a live stream, and we'll make some popcorn, have some drinks, 3 ice cubes, no more, no less, and we will watch a movie together. Okay, how about that? We'll do that. So I'll take a vote, like on the next live show. I'll give you guys a few options of movies playing on YouTube, and we'll take a vote. If you guys have a recommendation, please let me know. Ladybugs. Yes, he played a trans kid in Ladybugs. His stepfather made him play. Yes, you're right. Top-notch movie, nevertheless. Listen, if I had a kid and he was good at soccer, I'd put a wig on his head if he could play varsity girls soccer, and it'd be okay. People would be okay with it. It's fine. Who are you to judge me? But yeah, man, I think we need to do this at some point. Okay. It's a movie date. We'll do it. Roger something says, please, John, I've been waiting for you to do this forever. I'll do it, man. I'll do it. Point Break is free on YouTube. We got to see that. Yeah, I don't know if we do Point Break for the first time. I think for the first viewing, we watch something kind of shitty. Like, it's got to be a little shitty, right? That's the key to all of this. That's what ties it all together. We sort of have to watch a shitty movie together. Master and Commander, haven't seen it yet, and you hype it up. Is Master and Commander on YouTube? Yeah, we'll make it happen. Keep the suggestions coming. But we'll figure it out. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Patrice Chaswick. How's it going, Patrice, buddy? Just wanted to say hi to the Flick fam from Australia. Well, Patrice, man, thank you so much. And I hope you're doing well down under as well, man. Patrice, you're showing up every week with the live shows and being very nice and generous, and I do appreciate it. You guys do help a lot. So much. It does mean a lot. So thank you guys so much. And Patrice, I'm gonna give you a double party popper right now. 3, 2, 1. Look at those bad boys smoking. Focus, camera. There. Okay, never mind. All right, but thanks so much, Patrice, man. Thank you for the question, or the statement, really, or the kind gesture, more like it. But I love you too, Patrice. I love you too. All right. Dustin Rich says, the first time I watched Alpha Dog, I liked it, but didn't like that I liked it. I felt disappointed in myself. No, man, there's something about seedy, uncomfortable movies that I find, yeah, they're uncomfortable, but I'll tell you know what? This just occurred to me, okay? I like to have these internal dialogues with myself. I think the thing about Alpha Dog is the movie is so good that the movie makes me forget how it's going to end and how depressing it is in the third act by the first 2 acts. Like, I'm so immersed into the story and the characters, I kind of forget what's coming. And when it does come, I'm like, ooh, that's depressing. I don't want to watch this movie for a while. But like every time I revisit it, I sort of forget that's happening. I think that's like a testament to a good depressing movie, to where like it makes you forget how depressing it is because it's so captivating. I'll go with that. And plus you have Ben Foster like kicking dudes' asses, doing roundhouse kicks. All right. Selling drugs. Okay, the next one comes from Mick Pauley 003, who says, John, I want to show you my recent boxing match. You had a boxing match? Okay. Can you tag me on X? Like, just tag me the video on X, man. I'll check it out. You send me the video, I'll leave a comment on it. I promise. Just make sure you tag me on X. I'll check it out. I hope you won, though. Joey Ruiz, Lord of the Rings, says, will you do a review of Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die? If I get around to seeing it, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Yeah, I know not. Why do I... Claiming to be from the future, a man takes hostages at a Los Angeles diner to recruit unlikely heroes to help him save the world. Yeah, I need to check this out. I don't remember the trailer looking that great, but maybe I was wrong. Yeah, if I watch the movie at some point soon, I will give you guys my thoughts on it. How's that? Everyone's saying it's a good time. Dustin Rich says, how about I kick your seat during a movie and you pay me? I mean, that's one way to go. Just slap me in the back of the head. Oh, it's 40X. I paid a lot of extra money. Dump hot popcorn butter down my shirt. Actually, I would pay you for that. Dustin Rich says, I get my colon checked every Tuesday. Well, so how do you dad for me? Levy Film says, I want John in a Mortal Kombat movie. You and me both. I don't care if I get decapitated or uppercutted into the pit of spikes down below. I just want to be a background extra in a Mortal Kombat movie. That's all. I feel like when I was working out pretty hardcore, I could have been like a good background extra in a Mortal Kombat movie. You know what I mean? Just putting it out there. Just wearing a loincloth covered in baby oil. Murph MM Beck says, have you seen the trailer for Pressure? Brendan Fraser is playing Eisenhower during D-Day. It looks like it will be good. No, I have not seen the trailer for Pressure. Did this just come out? Is this like a straight to streaming movie? It kind of looks like it. I mean, here's Brendan Fraser. Okay, you got D-Day there. You got some bodies in the sand. I mean, that's a cool, pretty epic shot there. I mean, okay. I mean, I like a good war movie. I like that Brendan Fraser's getting acting gigs again. It's just, when it comes to like, I'm sure they're focusing more on the political backstory and aspect of it when it comes to D-Day, maybe the planning of it. But it's because you can never recreate the D-Day sequence better than Saving Private Ryan did. You can talk about what happened before, you can talk about what happened after, but showing the actual event, it's just like, no. If you're not Steven Spielberg, it's hard to recreate that. So, but it looks kind of interesting. I like a good history type-esque war movie. Okay, the next one comes from Caleb. I'm going to add another Caleb. How's it going, buddy? John, do you still utilize your graphic design degree? How much do you charge for logo design if possible? I think it would be awesome to have a piece of your creative work customized for myself. I have watched and enjoyed you for a long ass time. Well, man, thank you so much for that. I don't really do much with it. The only graphic design stuff I'm doing nowadays right now is sort of just for YouTube. I just do my own stuff. But really, man, to be completely transparent with you, it's sort of scary how good AI is getting. And when it comes to like logo designs, it's like, dude, you just go to like any AI platform and it can crap something out for you, you know? And that's terrifying because I think an entire industry of graphic designers who do marketing material like that are like sort of out of business to some degree. But yeah, really, I just do stuff for myself these days. I mean, what would you want? What would you want me to make? But yeah, that's really where it's at, I guess. I don't really do it for, I only do it for myself. So the last time I worked for a company doing any graphic design was probably like 2010. It's been a long time. I read an article that Fight Club will be in theaters April 22nd. Thoughts? I like some Fight Club. I probably wouldn't go watch it in theaters again. I probably just watch the 4K. John is Johnny Cage. I'll play Johnny Cage. Hang on. Hang on. I got something here. Come on, tough guy. Make my day. I can be Johnny Cage. Come on. Little Carl. If you squint your eyes, I got a little Carl Urban-esque going on, you know. I'm going to wear these sunglasses for the next couple minutes. I like the way they make me feel. But anyway, thank you so much for the question, Caleb. And you get a party popper. Finish him. All right. Side Mike says, missed you, John. Have you done a top 10 of 2025 yet? That's a great question. That is such, okay, here, listen, just let me get this out. I've been meaning to make a top 25 for the last 3 live shows. And every day I go to do it, I'm like, okay, I got to upload all the pictures, all the graphics into my editing software so I can do it during the live show. And I think I'm just going to get to the point where I'm not going to do the graphics. I'll just edit those in after the fact or something. But can we do that like on the next live show? I know I've said that 3 times, but the next live show we'll do it. Hey, I did the most anticipated movies last time, so we're making progress. And the other thing is, like, when it comes to my top 10 favorite movies of 2025, the truth is, man, after like number 5, I'm just like picking movies I kind of liked. Like, I did not love a lot of movies of 2025. There's some decent ones. There's movies like I liked more than others, but there wasn't like 10 movies where I feel that passionate about revisiting them anytime soon. So at some point, probably the next live show, I'll do it. I'll try to crap that out. I'll crap that out before February's over. Side Mike says, we already talked about that question. Dustin Rich says, RoboCop was free on YouTube last time. I just checked. RoboCop could be a lot of fun. RoboCop might be a lot of fun to watch together, huh? A lot of blood squibs. And then the one dude at the end, after he falls into like the vat of acid, he's going, help me. And the one dude's just like, get away from me. It's a phenomenal scene. Then a car hits him and he just explodes. I mean, I could watch some RoboCop. That's not a bad choice. Paulin says, hit the like button. Yeah, please do hit the like button. Please do. It does help the YouTube algorithm. So if you're watching right now, I know it's stupid. I know you don't want to do it, but just if you want to help a dude out who's lonely, not wearing any pants, talking to a video camera at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, hanging out with you, I'm here. Your family's not here. Your friends aren't here. I'm here right now. So the only thing I'm asking is you give me a like. That's all I want. That's all I need. That's how I accreditate myself as a content creator on YouTube. Just give me a like. Stick it to the man. All right. The next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, what do you think the best movie to rewatch once you know the twist/mystery? I mean, dude, that's a tough question. So what movie can you know the ending of, but like the twist, even if you know the twist, it still doesn't get old? Well, I think the best twist is a twist that has a little bit of ambiguousness to it. Like, just as an example, like the ending to Inception. It's a bit ambiguous, right? You don't know what's really happening. I'm trying to think of a movie that has a great twist, but you can keep rewatching it over and over again. I mean, Fight Club has a pretty big twist, but I really don't feel like knowing the twist to Fight Club ruins the experience of rewatching it, because the journey is so fun that the twist almost like doesn't inhibit it at all. That would be one. But if you guys have one, let me know down below. What is a movie that has a huge twist, but it still never ruins the rewatchability of said movie? Let me know. Blu-ray Addict says the original Saw. That's a good pick. Game over. Slams the door. I love the theme music to Saw. I love it. Big Don Da Vinci says 7. You're right. You're absolutely right. It doesn't matter what's in the box. What's in the box? What's that thing in the box? Doesn't matter. Still a good movie. The White has a great ambiguous ending. The White? I don't think I've seen The White. The Usual Suspects, yeah. Yep. You know what's funny about The Unusual Suspects? Even when I watched that movie without knowing the twist, I still sort of thought it was going to be the person who it was. Like, I picked up on, that the vibe I got, it didn't feel like much of a twist. I sort of like expected it to be the character it was. The Empire Strikes Back, yeah, absolutely. I think Darth Vader sort of announcing that he's Luke's father. Yes, that's absolutely a twist, but I think that's such like a story arc that just like enhances everything that it's doing. Like that's just one small piece of the puzzle that enhances the overall experience. But yeah, good pick. Shutter Island, yes. The thing I like about Shutter Island, though, once again, there's a little bit of an ambiguous kind of vibe that it has. You don't know the answers to everything. But really, my takeaway from Shutter Island was you have this guy who cannot live with the guilt. And I almost feel like he doesn't necessarily need the lobotomy, but he wants it because he just can't live with his own guilt. That's what I always took away from Shutter Island. The Prestige. Yes, another great one. Yeah, the twist in The Prestige, to me, it's almost not even relevant to the story. And I know that's crazy to say, but I just enjoy what they're doing in The Prestige and the time period and the characters so much where like I don't even need the twist. But also, once again, though, this fits the theme of the best twist ending in a movie that makes it rewatchable is that twist ending with a little bit of an ambiguous touch. Because when it comes to like Hugh Jackman, is he the man in the machine or is he the one getting the ovation, the prestige? Like there's some like takeaway there, you know? You don't quite know exactly what the answer to that is. American Psycho is a bit ambiguous, questionable ending. Yeah, I've always thought that as well. A lot of people say, and if you read the book, it's not as ambiguous. It's a bit more clear cut in some regards, but I always liked the more ambiguous approach to American Psycho. Like I like to imagine a lot of things were just in his head, but some of the things also really happened in reality. Like I'm hoping Patrick Bateman actually killed a few hookers. That's all I'm saying. Come on. Joker Face 501 says House of the Dragon season 3 for season 3 hoping for a big war battle. Yeah, because me too, man. I like Game of Thrones. I'm a huge fan of what they're doing with the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. That last episode that we just got last week, top-notch stuff. I can't wait for the season finale. My only negative thing to say when it comes to that show is 30-minute episodes. 30-minute episodes. And I know it's based on a novella. It's a very short story. But man, when I have a 30-minute epic episode of entertainment, it's like hard for me to even like get relaxed and start eating my popcorn. It's like, it's over. But I am looking forward to House of the Dragon because season 2 was everyone just talking and sitting around in dimly lit rooms talking about what they want to do. And they don't actually do anything. So in season 3, hopefully they start doing some shit. And season 3 better have a lot of epic battle sequences happening because they owe it to us after that lackluster, boring season 2. Mulholland Drive, yeah, that has definitely a twist. Hereditary, yes. Yeah, so some good twist endings in there. Okay, the next one comes from Side Mike says, if you had to pick, what are your top 3 movies of 2025? I had a list written down, dude. I can't even remember what the hell came out this year. I got a list somewhere. I think okay, so I'm probably going to put Weapons in there. Like, I don't know where Sinners falls on my list. I really, really don't. Because I have not had the urge to rewatch it since watching it the first time, and I liked the first time I watched it, but I don't know. I mean, like Avatar. I liked Avatar, but I think 28 years later, Bone Temple will probably have a strong presence in my top 5. No, that came out in January, so I can't even do that. I think Snow White will be number 1. And then right behind that will be the Minecraft movie. That's what I'm thinking here. Dude, I don't know. I have like 20 movies written down. I need to put them in order. So I'm not even quite sure. I don't even know yet. Just a lot of mediocre movies from last year, man. Like I'm looking at some of the list right now. Like I really liked Weapons. Like Fantastic Four was good for a Marvel movie, I suppose. Naked Gun. Yeah. I mean, Naked Gun wasn't bad, but definitely not a top 10 of the year. I know there's something, and I know I'm not thinking of something. Did magazine dreams year release? Was this a 2024 movie? This was 2025, I think. Okay, I'm going to tell you one movie going in my top 10 of 2025, even though I think it came out technically in 2023. I am going to put a movie that no one's talking about, that no one probably put in their list. I'm putting Magazine Dreams in my top 10 of 2025. I don't care. I'm putting it in there. I thought this was like a really dark, twisted, weird movie that I still remember to this day after watching it. And I've been meaning to go back and revisit this, but this is kind of like the sick, kind of twisted movies I enjoy and the character study type movies I enjoy. And if you want a movie like that, definitely watch Magazine Dreams, about a guy who's obsessed with bodybuilding, who might just be on the spectrum to some degree. But man, I quite enjoyed it. So I'm going to put that in my top 10 somewhere. There you go. Oh, The Long Walk. Yes, I will definitely put The Long Walk in my top 10 as well. Dude, I can't even remember 10 movies that came out last year. What does that say about last year? Okay, let's answer a few more questions here, and we got plenty more left. So if you guys have any questions, get them in now. The next one comes from 1982 Seb. Sorry, it's hard to read the text. The lineup of movies this year sucks. Terrifier 4, Mortal Kombat 2 are the only 2 movies that I'm looking forward to seeing. What? I think 2026 looks way better than 2025. Light years better. Like I said, I talked about, I literally have a video I put out last week if you want to watch it on this channel, my most anticipated movies of the year. So check out that video if you want. But man, you got movies like, you got the Odyssey. You got, if you want some MCU epicness, you got Doomsday. You have Project I have a speech impediment all of a sudden because I've been talking for 2 hours. Dude, those are 3 huge movies. You got Dune 3 coming out. There's some big movies coming out this year I'm looking forward to, and a multitude of others. Like on a lighter note, we got Toy Story 5. That looks kind of good. There's just way bigger, more anticipated movies coming out in 2026 than there was in 2025, or at least for me there is. John, thoughts on Trish Stratus? Oh, dude, Trish Stratus. How do I say this? Let's just say I used to buy WWE magazines as a 12-year-old kid whenever Trish Stratus was featured, and I did not care about any of the wrestling content in said magazines. So I was a huge fan of Trish Stratus. A very, very big fan of Trish Stratus. Okay, but anyway, Seb, thanks for the question, man. I'm upset. I'm sad that you don't think there's any good movies coming out, man. But yeah, Terrifier 4, I don't care about. Mortal Kombat 2, I am looking forward to. I'm even looking forward to the new Street Fighter movie. I think that kind of looks like a kind of a goofy good time in the theater, you know? So anyway, man, thanks for the question. And Hadouken! Speaking of Street Fighter. Drunken Boxing 781 says, howdy, John. You seen the Korean film The Wailing? It's nice, peaceful vibes to you. The Wailing? I feel like we've talked about this. I don't. No, I have. No, I haven't. Okay, here's The Wailing right here. That's nightmare fuel. That's a sleep paralysis demon if I've ever seen one. I have not seen this. What year did it come out? The Wailing came out in 2016. An officer investigates the outbreak of a deadly disease after his daughter is infected. I feel like someone told me about... Was it you or somebody else told me about this movie? Many live shows ago? No, I have not watched it yet. There's another South Korean movie I need to watch about a guy who loses his job. What was that called? That came out... It was still in theaters last time we talked about it. Roger something says, probably Jonathan Major's best role. Absolutely. I think Magazine Dreams is by far and away his best performance. Skylar Wheelock says, what movie has an ending so bleak you're left feeling empty inside? Leaving Las Vegas is my pick. That's definitely one of them. I mean, I guess like American History X sort of has a dark, bleak ending. I mean, the darkest, bleakest ending of any movie is probably going to be Schindler's List, you know. It's kind of hard to top genocide for being a dark, depressing topic, right? Roger something says The Mist has a bleak ending. It does. Now they're remaking The Mist. I've heard, and my biggest question is, we already know the ending, right? And if you change the ending to The Mist, then it's not The Mist anymore. So I'm curious what they do with that. John, let's watch Dogma in 4DX. Let's watch Schindler's List in 4DX. How about that? Big Don Da Vinci says, I'm looking forward to Supergirl. Momoa as Lobo is legit perfect casting. It is perfect casting. I don't know how I feel about the movie. The trailers don't do much for me, but I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. Dustin Rich says, do you think Jonathan Major's acting career is over? I personally hope not. He might get small roles in like art house films or something down the road. But for a while, I think most people are staying away from him. No Other Choice is the Korean movie. Yeah, I need to check that out. Is that on streaming yet? It was only playing in select theaters, and I was kind of waiting for it to hit streaming so I could watch it. I like the novel. Which novel do you like? I prefer a movie, but will be... John, would you rather see Brendan Fraser as Superman or Firefly? I mean, I think young Brendan Fraser as a version of Superman would have been interesting, but I was kind of curious what he was going to do as the villain Firefly in the Batgirl or Batwoman movie that was canceled and canned from Warner Brothers. They literally made a movie, and they just didn't release it because I think they said they would make more money as a tax write-off than they would releasing the movie. Or maybe the Batgirl movie just didn't fit into their plans. I don't know. But it's just like, release it on like HBO Max as filler content. Just make it like filler content, or cut it up into like 4 episodes and release it as like an episodic big budget TV series called Batwoman or Batgirl or whatever the fuck it was called. Just release it. It's not going to hinder anything happening in the universe of DC. It's not going to matter. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. Dustin Rich says, Polka Dot Man as M. Bison in Street Fighter may be the only thing that worries me about it. Yeah, I agree. Casting What's-His-Face that played Polka Dot Man as M. Bison, that's not a very good casting call in my opinion at all. I think they should have went with a bigger actor who could chew up the scenery a little bit more for that. But that is definitely the weak point of that movie. All right. Mitchell Kaufman 2790 says, best James Bond movie. I love you, John. Why I love you too. I love you too, Mitchell. I've said this once and I'll say it 5,293 more times. My favorite James Bond movie of all time, I gotta go with Casino Royale. I do. I think that is the ultimate James Bond movie. That's the James Bond movie that made me sort of like James Bond again, because the Pierce Brosnan movies, GoldenEye was great. And then every movie after that just got worse and worse and worse. And then all of a sudden I saw him as a CGI video game character surfing with a parachute and driving an invisible car. And it was just, Halle Berry was there. I hated it. But Casino Royale, man, when you look at that movie as like the perfect 3-act structure movie, each act of that movie feels like its own individual James Bond movie. Like you have the big opening action sequences with the parkour sequence. Then you have the airport chase sequence and James Bond being a womanizer, which is just top notch. And then you have him playing poker, which is like this, it's this more subdued, nuanced version of James Bond where he's not punching people in the face, but he's using his wits and his intelligence. And I liked that aspect. So and plus, man, the theme song to Casino Royale with Chris Cornell. Oh, dude, that gets me pumped up to this day. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. But thanks for the question, man. And I've shared, speaking of Casino Royale, I've shared this story once. I probably have shared it multiple times. But I remember vividly watching Casino Royale in the theater. So here it is. The movie came out, I believe, did it come out in the wintertime? I think it came out in like November or something like that. I could be wrong. But anyway, I think it did. So anyway, we went to the theater. And in the theater, when watching Casino Royale back in 2006, we walked in and it felt like you were walking into a sauna. It had to have been 99 degrees in this theater. And I remember like my friend went up front and he spoke to the manager and he's like, dude, it is fucking hot in the theater. Can you turn the heat down? And the guy was like, yeah, sorry. We had to turn up the heat because there was a couple old people in there and they said they were cold. And I'm like, were you trying to cook them to death like they were baked potatoes? It was that hot. Like you couldn't breathe. So halfway through the movie, it was just me and a couple friends in the theater. It was an empty theater. We literally took off our shirts and were profusely sweating because it was so hot in this fucking theater. I could only imagine if somebody walked in and saw 4 dudes with their shirts off, sweating in a theater, eating popcorn, sitting beside each other. It probably didn't look good. But anyway, that's my memory of watching Casino Royale. But the movie was so good, we stayed. Okay. Joker Face 501, House of the Dragon Season 3, hoping for a big battle scene. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, man, and I can't wait. I'm hoping half of that entire series in Season 3 is in one big battle scene. They owe it to us. After that monotonous, boring thing that they gave us for Season 2, which just felt like, it literally felt like they knew they didn't have enough time or budget to make Season 2, so they got all of the boring talking scenes out of the way and just forgot to give us any action sequences. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Season 3. I'm hoping it's good. Okay, Claudio Rogajon back again. He's an abuser. Who's an abuser? Justice for Vesper. Yeah. Dude, that scene where 007's getting hit in the balls with that rope and that torch. Dude, like that movie's nothing but good scenes. I love it. I could go watch it right now. But anyway, Claudia Rogajon says, speaking of James Van Der Beek, I haven't seen much of Dawson's Creek, but the fact that Joshua Jackson is supposed to be the cool one is hilarious to me. Funny, he originally auditioned for Dawson's Dawson's role, but the showrunner said he was too good looking to be him. Yeah, I heard that as well. Joshua Jackson kind of plays like the quirky, I don't want to say dumb guy, but like the less intellectual one in Dawson's Creek from what I remember. But I remember watching Dawson's Creek the first season. I didn't really keep up with it after that. But the thing that I liked most about Dawson's Creek, and maybe you'll like it too, Claudio, is Dawson he wants to be a film director. So like the show, when it like shows his bedroom, he has like movie posters. He's always talking about movie references. It shows him like shooting some short films and doing some like very amateur style techniques. Like I remember he was like, I need to get a steady shot for my short film. And he takes like somebody's wheelchair and like sets in it to record like a tracking shot. So there's like little things like that. If you like movies, you might like the first season of Dawson's Creek. I couldn't tell you what happened in the second or third seasons. Never watched them. Don't care. And I probably never will watch them. But anyway, let's continue on. Dustin Rich says, besides Margot Robbie's body, who is your favorite character from Suicide Squad movies? Well, that would be my choice. Captain Boomerang. I think that's Jai Courtney's best performance he's ever given as Captain Boomerang. But I did like him quite a bit in, was it called Animals? Or Dangerous Animals, the shark movie that came out last year. Actually, I'll tell you another movie that's in my top 10. I think Dangerous Animals with Jai Courtney might be my top 10, like maybe number 10. But I thought that was like a really good Shudder movie. I thought that was just a lot of fun for like a B movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Jai Courtney plays this crazy guy who feeds people to sharks. So basically, he's Captain Boomerang as a captain who feeds people to sharks. So yeah, that's that. John, is Jessica Biel your second wife? Technically speaking, yeah, we'll go with that. The next one comes from the Movie Guy 007. How's it going, the Movie Guy 007? Hey, John. Delete one forever. Point Break, Nightcrawler, Terminator 2, Jurassic Park. Oh, man. And thank you for the question in the super chat. You're too good to me. You're too kind. Huh. Dude, I hate that question. I hate it. I cannot get rid of Terminator 2. I just can't. It's the best action movie ever made. I don't care. I stand by it. Terminator 2, I cannot get rid of. Jurassic Park is fundamentally, and I think arguably, and I think it has been voted on, is the most rewatchable movie of all time. So now I'm down to Point Break or Nightcrawler. And Point Break does mean a lot to me as a movie. It's one of those movies that reminds me of my dad. And I remember like watching it with him. And I think it's a badass action movie. I do. I just like the dynamic between Johnny Utah and Bodhi in that movie. And just the action sequences, the chase sequences in that movie. And then you got Nightcrawler, which if you could go into my brain and I could have the time and the resources to like make any movie I wanted to make, it would be a movie like Nightcrawler. So I'm going to choose a party popper. 3, 2, 1. That's my choice. No, I don't know. You know, it might be weird to say. I think I have to get rid of Nightcrawler. Dude, I have to, right? With that lineup, that's the one I have to get rid of. It sucks. It hurts. But like, could you imagine me saying, yeah, I'm going to keep Nightcrawler and get rid of Jurassic Park? Like, what? Just unsubscribe now. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. I got to go with that. That's my honest answer. I'm going to go with it. But thanks for the question, man. And you get another party popper for your generous question. So 3, 2, 1. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. Okay, the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says, let's say you and your wife are on Survivor. Who would vote who off first? Oh, she'd probably want me to vote her off first. I think I'd be a much better participant in Survivor. So I think we'd vote her off first if we had the choice. And I think it'd be a mutual decision. So there's that. Do you know, that reminds me of something. Do you guys know I had a casting director or somebody who worked for a casting agency reach out to me, and they were viewers, and this was legit. They actually worked there. And they're like, hey, John, I think we can get you on a show if you really wanted to apply for like Naked and Afraid. And I thought about it for like a couple days. I never auditioned for it. But yeah, there's that. But I'm at a point in my life where I just might do it. But thanks for the question, Skylar. I want to be on Beast Games. I want to be on an episode of Beast Games. Everyone's like, no, I'm not going to take the money. No. I'll never take the money. We're all friends here. You give me a chance to take $1 million and I'm taking it. I'm sorry. I'm here to make money, not friends. All right. Kevin Meredith, 1809. How's it going, Kevin? All jokes, love, but time to melt the 100K sub plaque. Wait, you want me to melt my YouTube plaque with 100K on it? I can't, man. I'll be honest with you. My YouTube play buttons mean more to me than my college degree. And the honest truth is, both of those things have given me more opportunity and more success than my college degree ever has and ever will. So I can't melt those. Is that what you meant? I don't know. But thanks for the question, man. Gia Hinta, 6323. How's it going? How are you? I'm late, John. I'm late, John. Spank me as punishment. Just got out of Psycho Killer, and it's downright awful. I've heard nothing but terrible things from Psycho Killer, and when I come across someone who watches only horror movies, and they love like the shittiest horror movies that get crapped out to like Shudder that you'd only watch once at 2:00 in the morning, and they give those types of movies 10 out of 10s, and even they say movies like Psycho Killer sucks. It's like, yeah, it probably sucks. It's one of those movies that I probably will never watch. I just don't go out of my way to watch movies I don't give a shit about anymore. I just don't. So yeah, that just kind of reconfirms what I already expected. And that's a movie I won't ever waste my time on. So there's that. I believe Oldboy is the best twist of all time. Yeah. Oldboy, when we were talking about twist endings earlier, Oldboy is a movie that I had not watched until like 2009 or something. And that twist ending, I was like, whoa. So that's, whoa. I won't spoil it, but it gets pretty dark to say the least. And it's the ultimate story of revenge. We'll just leave it there. Beast Games, but all YouTube movie critics. That could be interesting. Legion the World Killer says, I prowl the rooftops and alleyways at night, watching from the darkness forever, in darkness a guardian devil. Well, thank you for that. That's called a stalker, okay? That's called you're going to get a restraining order if you keep that up. You're not a vigilante. You're a predator. But really, there's a fine line, isn't there? Uranium Cranium, how's it going? My college degrees were worthless as well. Yeah, welcome to the club, man. And most will be. You give it time, most will be. The Eisenator 7255 says, been a while. How are you feeling these days? Man, I'm doing good. I'm feeling pretty good in life. You know, I got no big complaints. We're here. We're talking about movies. You know, what else could you complain about besides the economy and time feeling like it's going faster than ever? You know, other than that, I think things are going pretty good. How are you guys doing? I genuinely mean that. In the comments right now, if you're watching, just give me a quick comment how you're doing and be honest. Let me know. I'm doing okay though, you know. Life's opened up some new opportunities and I'm going to explore those. And, you know, I got some ideas for YouTube and making more YouTube content, and I hate the word content, just more YouTube videos. That's what I want to do. And plus, movie season is back, so I kind of want to start talking about movies a little bit more and doing some dedicated, not dedicated reviews, just more reviews. We'll put it like that. I'm a little behind, but did you talk about Shutter Island's twist ending? We did talk about Shutter Island. Yeah, I did. I talked about wanting to get a lobotomy. Never better. I'm good. Doing okay. My back hurts. Welcome to the club, man. It doesn't get better. I will say, if you have a bad back, working it out actually makes it better. And that's coming from a guy who had sciatica for about 5 years. And I was to the point where if I were to sneeze, it felt like a sharp bolt of lightning went up my spine. And then what happened was I stopped babying my lower back and just started working out more. I started doing like outside landscaping in my yard. And guess what? Building up my lower back muscles actually made my back pain go away. So I'm sorry if that doesn't relate to anyone watching, but just some solid advice. That's all I'm saying. I just ate some disappointing pad thai. Dude, I'm hungry. You know, I got half of, my wife picked up Subway. Now, when it comes to Subway, I think it tastes like overpriced dog food. I don't know what it is. All fast food restaurants, the food's just getting grosser because they're getting cheaper on the ingredients. They're basically giving you chemically engineered, grown lab meat. And you can taste it, right? Everything tastes more like rubber. But anyway, with all that said, I got a chicken teriyaki sandwich from Subway earlier. And I will say it tasted much better than it has in a long time. But I'm really looking forward to the other 6 inches of that Subway sandwich after this live stream's over. So, John, did you get in trouble in school? All the time, man. All the time. You know how many times I got suspended in high school? And it was always for stupid shit. It was never for anything like crazy. It was just stupid stuff. And the truth is, I didn't mind it. Like, getting suspended in high school, especially when you have parents who are understanding and normal, where they don't punish you for getting suspended for dumb shit in high school, where it basically was just like 2 days or a day vacation from high school. And for some odd reason, my best friend in high school, we would always get suspended at the same time. Typically because we were, committing the same crimes against high school. But when we got suspended on the same day, we would make a whole day out of it. I'm like, hey man, we don't have school tomorrow. We can stay up late tonight. You come over here. We'll play Call of Duty and Halo. And then tomorrow during school hours, we'll go see a new movie. Like, let's go watch V for Vendetta. We'll go do that because it's 2005. And then after that, we'll go to the mall, maybe get like a pretzel at the mall, and then call it a day. And we make a whole day out of it. So yeah, I got in trouble in school quite a bit. And I don't really regret any of it. I'll be honest, I'm a good, why? Look at me obeying all the rules of high school. Nah. Fuck that noise. They're playing checkers, I'm playing chess. Arby's is the worst fast food. I have not been to an Arby's in almost a decade, and every time I drive past an Arby's, I don't see anyone at Arby's. Now, back in the day, I will say this. When it comes to Arby's, the curly fries, man. The curly fries, you dip some of that in Arby's sauce. Oh. But outside of that, I don't care about an overpriced roast beef sandwich. I just don't. Damn, I wish I saw V for Vendetta in theaters. Yeah, it was good stuff. And hey, V for Vendetta, there's a good twist in a movie. Natalie Portman's entire twist where she gets captured and she's held in a prison cell and it's just one big test. I respected that. I loved that. That was good stuff. Okay, the next one comes from Claudia Rogajan. Every time you comment a question, I always have to take a sip of my caffeinated beverage. But here it goes. Last thing about James Vanderbeek, but the trailer for his final movie came out called The Gates, where he played a psychotic pastor who chases three men in a gated community after they see him kill someone. It actually looks kind of interesting. Okay, I think I heard something about that. That's interesting. Well, it's probably going to do well. And the weird, morbid thing to say is because of his passing, it's going to have more publicity than it ever would have. But that's, good for him. His final movie will have, a lot of appeal and get more viewership. And if, it makes more money for his family, so be it. But I'll have to check out the trailer. If it looks good, I'll probably check it out. It's sort of like, it's like when Heath Ledger passed away. Like The Dark Knight was going to be a big movie of the summer no matter what. Like whenever you have Batman in a comic book movie, it's going to be a huge movie. But man, the fact that like Heath Ledger passed away and you had all that discussion and hype, and it was like everyone's like, it's his last movie. Dude, I'm telling you, I genuinely think all that press surrounding his like tragic, unexpected passing, I literally think that probably contributed like $300+ more million to that movie. I know that sounds dark and twisted when you look at it from that sense, but I think it did. And it just so happened that he gave a fucking phenomenal performance as the Joker. So talk about a movie to go out on, man. We're talking about a lot of death tonight. Can we be a little more positive? Gosh. Giacinta6323 says, give me an impression of Sean Chandler finding out he's in the Epstein files. Oh, God. How do I don't know. I don't even know where to start. I have a great joke. I just think it's too much for YouTube. I think it's too much for YouTube. I really do. I don't even know how to do this. And here's my ranking for all the great things I did on the island this weekend. I don't even know. I don't know. Can we go to the next one, man? Joe McGuire, 8131 says, John, what is your go-to rainy day movie? Man, I have a multitude of rainy day movies. I mean, geez, any John Hughes movie is pretty much a rainy day movie for me. I have a lot of winter time movies that always sort of take me to my happy place. But rainy day movies like Stand By Me is a rainy day movie I quite enjoy. Another rainy day movie, or wintertime movie, like if there's a lot of snow on the ground and I'm snowed into my house, I like watching The Hateful Eight quite a bit. I like watching that movie. It all takes place on one location with a blizzard outside, and it's violent and thought-provoking, and the dialogue is so great. But other rainy day movies, I feel like we just watched something the other day that was in fact rainy. What did we watch? Man, what did we watch? It was a rainy day. We watched a movie that had rain in it. What was it? It wasn't Waterworld. That's a great question for you guys. What is a great rainy day movie for you? Triumphal Arch? Terminator 2 is, I think it's more than a rainy day movie for me. Yeah, let me keep thinking on that. Dan Demand 2323 says, John, do you remember Richard Simmons wearing a headband like the rest of us? And do you believe in the Mandela effect? Remember Luke, I am your father? Yeah, I think some of the Mandela effect things do they do, some of them hold some weight, but a lot of them, like, I like Mr. Peanut having a monocle, or was it Monopoly Man having a monocle? Yeah, I get it. Now I can't remember who has the monocle. Mr. Peanut has the monocle. The Monopoly Man does not have a monocle. Final answer. But yeah, there's definitely something to be said with some Mandela effects. And I swear, Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia in it. I don't care what anyone says, that shit had a cornucopia in it at one point. You guys know what I'm talking about with Fruit of the Loom underwear, where it has the fruit, but it has like the little cornucopia thing that holds the fruit? I'm telling you, at one point that shit was there. Low key, the first John Wick is a great rainy day movie. 7, yeah, 7's a good rainy day movie because it is in fact raining. Hard Rain with Morgan Freeman and Christian Slater, yeah, it's not a very good movie though. Like for me, rainy day movies, sometimes it can be like a good B movie as well. But now I feel like I've been talking too long to come up with a movie. Okay. Thank you for the grapefruit emoji. Identity. I've seen Identity once. I think it's okay. All right. The next one comes from. And by the way, Danda Man, I'm your father. There you go. What was I? God, there was a. I watched a movie. It was like a survival movie. I just watched. I'm trying to remember what it was. I just watched it the other day. Oh my God. Okay, here is the rainy day movie I watched the other. I'm sorry. That took so much processing power that literally I'm going to have to reboot. I want to talk about this with you guys. And we got to get serious for a minute. I'm going to dedicate a few minutes to this because I have a movie confession to make to all of you. Okay? And here it goes. 3, 2, 1. For many, many years, I have frowned upon the movie The Revenant. Now, I love the genre of survival films. And it's been a genre that I've really liked a lot more over the last like 3 or 4 years. I don't know why. Every time I come across like a good survival film, I can't wait to check it out. And there's only like a handful that exists that really like give me exactly what I want. And when I'm talking about movies like 127 Hours or Everest or movies like Last Breath or movies like 13 Lives, like survival type movies. And for a long time, I remember not liking The Revenant. There was something about it the first time I watched it where I was like, maybe I wasn't in the mood to experience the movie. Maybe I thought it was like too gloomy. Maybe it's because Tom Hardy, I could not understand anything he was saying. I want some pouch. Why do you want a fucking pouch? I just couldn't understand anything he was saying. And like for a long time, I told myself I did not like The Revenant. And then the other day, it was in fact a rainy day, which thank you for reminding me of that. I was in the mood for like watching a survival genre movie. And my wife had never seen The Revenant. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's watch The Revenant. Let's just like give it 30 minutes and see if like I'm into it. We turned it on, watched it on the OLED TV. It was rainy and gloomy out, kind of like The Revenant. And the first 30 minutes, I was like, this shit is good. What's wrong with me? At one point, I literally held my hand out and slapped it to punish myself. The Revenant is so well made. And then, of course, I remember the bear scene where the grizzly bear has his way with Leonardo DiCaprio in the woods. And that shit's really intense. But it's a great movie about survival. And when you see Leo just like on the verge of death, crawling around, like cutting open a dead horse to crawl into its carcass to stay alive. It's phenomenal. And it was a great journey, and it's so well made. And the way that they do all those extended one take shots with some clever editing, I was mad at myself that I had put that movie down for so long. And then I went back and rewatched it, and I love it and really enjoyed it. And I'm glad I did. So I found I have a newfound appreciation for the movie, The Revenant. And interestingly enough, like originally they had an entire different cast for that movie. Like at one point, Christian Bale was going to be like the leading role in the movie. I think at one point Brad Pitt was attached to it or something. So, it's good stuff. So that was my rainy day movie last week. Dustin Rich says, did you hear that your boy Leonardo DiCaprio is in the Epstein files? I'm sure Leo probably took a free ride to an island, but who knows? Isn't everyone in the files? The Revenant is slow, but very good. Yeah, The Revenant's definitely slow. But it's one of those movies. I think we actually broke it up over the course of 2 days. And I think that was like the right way to watch it. Like as soon as he's on the verge of death by that grizzly bear, like turn the movie off, save the next part of the movie until the next day. The next one comes from the Eisenator 7255, who says Arnold Schwarzenegger as Bane impression. Okay, Arnold as Bane. Let me take a drink of this beverage and I'll try to do that shitty impression for you. When Gotham is ashes, you have my permission to die. Gotham, before you, I hold you. I can't even fucking do it. I can't do it. I'm trying to think of a Bane quote. Do it now. You think the darkness is your ally. I didn't see. It's getting worse. I can't do it. I'm basically just coming across like Mr. Freeze. That's all I'm doing right now. So that's all I have to give you. But thank you for making me do that. Okay, the movie guy 007 says, speaking of snow, did you ever watch Snow Day 2000 back in the day where Chevy Chase plays the weatherman? Well, thanks for the question, the movie guy. Yeah, I have seen Snow Day. It's okay. It's kind of fun because you have Chris, what's his last name? I always forget this actor's name. Chris something. He played Handsome in the Scary Movie. He was in Schitt's Creek. But anyway, he plays the snowplow guy. I thought Snow Day's an okay movie. I don't remember like every insignificant detail, but I remember kind of liking it. Snow Day came out at a time where like it just wasn't like a childhood classic to me, Mark Wahlberg and Nick Cage in a buddy cop movie. Hey, Nick, what are you doing over there? You want to serve justice or eat hamburgers or something? Well, that's a nice question, Mark. Well, how about we get a little wired and then we fight some crime? What do you say, huh? I don't know, man. Not enough walking impressions these days. You guys are just making me pull out all my shitty impressions. If you want me to do a good impression, her eyes were azul. Your mother, just gorgeous. Once told me. That's all I got. That's all I got, man. Don't make me do any more. Oh, the igloo hangout in Snow Day. I kind of remember that. When I think of Snow Day, I just think of the movie Jack Frost where Michael Keaton dies and comes back as a snowman. But I think of the snowball fight in that movie. That's what I think of. Chris Elliott? Yeah, Chris Elliott. Yes, that is his name. Thank you. Thank you so much. Not Christopher Reeves, Chris Elliott. Yeah. What do you miss the most from the golden age of YouTube movie criticism? For me, it's the movie fights. Yeah, man, I miss movie fights as well. That was a good time, but it was too much conflict. We can't have debates. It's too combative. I don't know. Movie fights was good. I did movie fights 3 times. I won 2 times, so I will pat myself on the back. Yeah, movie fights was a lot of fun, man. But when you go back to the golden age of YouTube movie reviews and criticism, I do miss the sense of community. And also going back to 2010 to like 2015, there wasn't that many people doing it, and it was new and you could be original, and it was kind of like the Wild West. And it felt like there was more of a sense of community. It felt like, I was talking more to other YouTubers. People collaborated a little bit more. And now everyone's just segmented, doing their own things. And I get it. Life catches up with you and, whatever. But now it just feels like a kind of a clusterfuck, and you still have all the same people who existed on YouTube back in 2015 kind of doing their own things, and that's kind of cool. Like a lot of the guys that were on YouTube in 2015 talking about movies are still doing it. And there's a lot of new people talking about movies, but I just feel like that sense of camaraderie is just, it's not there, man. And you didn't know how good you had it until it's gone, So that's what I miss most about it. Did you know that they didn't release an official movie soundtrack for Back to the Future? Yeah, did they not? Yeah, they just had the one rock ballad, the main, they just had the one main theme song released. But that's kind of how they used to do it for big movies. They just have one major song released that would capture the attention of the general public, and they'd play that on the radio. The Power of Love. You don't need, listen, when you have the power of love, you don't need anything else. You don't need any of the other shit. You just need the one ballad. But yeah, you're right. You know what I've been listening to a lot in my car lately? And by the way, I got a speeding ticket the other day as I was listening to this, which really pissed me off. But anyway, I'm sorry, 30 miles per hour is too slow for any roadway. That's just too slow. If the speed limit is less than I can ride my bike, speed-wise, it's too slow. Sorry. And I told that to the police officer, and he just looked at me crazy. And I'm like, don't you understand? Okay. But I've been listening to the F1 soundtrack quite a bit. There's a lot of Hans Zimmer scores on it, but it's a really catchy soundtrack from the movie F1 that came out last summer. But anyway, it's a movie about race car driving. So it definitely, when you're behind the wheel of the car, it kind of just I don't know, put you in the mood to just drive really fast and strategic and get a speeding ticket. Yeah, I think I'm going to take my speeding ticket to court. And I'm just going to say this. Listen. I'm going to plead insanity. Okay? Because I just, driving 30 miles per hour is just unreasonable. I'm sorry. It just is. And if they want to give me the ticket, that's fine. But I'm going to voice my opinion on said matter. And then I'm going to be like, listen, I was listening to the F1 soundtrack by Hans Zimmer, and how can I drive slow when I listen to that? Come on now. Dustin Rich says, watch From Beyond from 1986. John, a giant basement worm, sucks a man's hair off, and later the man sucks a woman's brain through her eye socket. Fun times. Dude, that sounds like a day at my Uncle Gary's house back in 1996. Sounds cool, though. I don't know what I just read. Thank you for the insights to that. It sounds like a movie I just watched the scene of that happening. Okay. And by the way, movie guy, you get another party popper for your super chat earlier. So thank you for that. Okay, we got a few more questions, and then I'm going to wrap up this live show. So if you guys have any more questions, Don't submit anymore as of like in the next 10 seconds. No more questions because I don't want to miss them. I don't want to leave you hanging. So here we go. But I'll answer as many as I can before I go. So we're gonna keep talking for a couple minutes. Don't worry. All right. Giahinta 6323 back again says, can we start a petition to get every Nick Nolte movie from now on to have subtitles? Guy sounds like he had a shaft. He sounds like he had shaft balls, and he's what? Guy sounded like he had a shaft balls all down his throat for every scene he had in Crimes 101. Yeah, I didn't watch Crime 101. But yeah, Nick Nolte's esophagus is definitely fried the fuck out. Nick Nolte, the best way I can describe Nick Nolte's voice is, it sounds like when you're trying to start your lawnmower, but it's out of gas. And that's his, hey, it's a real nice thing what you did for that boy in that tank, Tommy. You know, like, that's Nick Nolte's voice. Exactly. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I think it's music to my ears. But you're right. Okay, Claudia Rogajon says, don't know if you talked about it, but you mentioned Nicolas Cage. Did you see the Spider Noir trailer? I'm actually excited for it, and Nicolas Cage looks like he's being Nicolas Cage, which is great. Yeah, man, you should follow me on X, Claudio. But anyway, I did share this. Can I show you guys something? When it comes to likes and shares on social media, I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. But I shared this about the trailer, the Spider Noir trailer with Nicolas Cage we're talking about, which I do think looks really awesome. I can't wait to check it out. I never thought I would see something like this, but here's what I had to say. I said, watching 62-year-old Nick Cage swing around as Spider-Man during the Great Depression is something I never thought I'd see. Can't wait. And that's the truth, man. Like, this sounds like a fever dream that you would have. Like, Nicolas Cage is Spider-Man during the Great Depression. And the fact that they're releasing this in black and white and a color version is pretty cool. But yeah, I think it looks good. Like, I'll definitely give it a chance.
What the hell happened?
I think it looks like a good time. And I think Nicolas Cage being in this he's probably the only actor that would truly get me excited to watch this, because I know he's going to do some off the wall kooky Nick Cage shit. I just can't wait for it. But the other thing I wanted to say was my tweet for this got 48,000 likes. I think that's my record for Twitter or X for any likes. So obviously people agree with such sentiments. So yeah, I can't wait, man. But anyway, I thought that was crazy. That's the power of Nick Cage as Spider-Man right there. Like, they got it right. Amazon Prime, when it comes to their shows, usually they suck, and their movies sort of suck, like their original movies, because they all star Chris Pratt. But anyway, the fact that they got Nicolas Cage to play Spider-Man, perfection. That's the best thing they've ever done. Yeah, Nicolas Cage-assance? Yeah, absolutely, man. Nicolas Cage, he ages like fine wine and gets crazier. And the crazier he gets, the better he gets. So thanks for the question. Okay, Nick Cage has been Ghost Rider, Superman, Batman, and now Spider-Man. Nick Cage was Big Daddy from Kick-Ass. I don't think he was he wasn't Batman. What incarnation of Batman did he play? Did you mean Big Daddy from Kick-Ass, which is basically like Batman? But yeah, man, so just make Nick Cage the entire cast of the Avengers. He can play Thor. He can play Wolverine. He can play Professor X. He can play Captain America. It's fine. All played by Nicolas Cage. Absolutely okay by me. Fine. Dr. Doom, what's the problem? You want to get a little wired? Yeah, please give it to me now. Yeah, Big Daddy, Batman, basically same character. All right, guys. So I think I'm going to wrap up the live show right there. We have been talking for 2.5 hours. Tonight was a lot of fun. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, talking about movies. If you missed part of the live show, just scroll back, watch the replay. A lot of good stuff in there, a lot of great questions from you guys. We talked about new Blu-ray movies, some movie topics, Toy Story 5, my midlife crisis, and a multitude of other things. But I do want to say, as always, guys, thanks for joining me once again for a new live show. I'll do another live show sooner than later. I won't leave you hanging as long next time. I want to do another one probably like early next week. So we'll do another live show early next week. So look out for that. And if you're watching this as a replay, chime in. Which movie playing for free on YouTube right now would you guys like to have a watch along with? We will have a movie night together. We will watch the movie together on a live stream. So should be a good time. Dustin Rich says, don't leave me, John. I got to go, man. I got to eat my Subway. I'm hungry. It's sitting in the fridge. It needs to be eaten, and my wife is waiting on me. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys very soon with another live show. Have a great weekend. Have a glorious Friday. Take care. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.